Hello and welcome back for another video. I'm Tim, this is Photo Restorations by Tim G, and today is that most joyous occasion when I get to upgrade Gramps on my Debian computer. This is like a second birthday for me. I always love when this time of year comes around. It usually comes around about twice when the Gramps team releases a new version of their Gramps software. So today I'm going to be upgrading to Gramps 4.1.3 on my Debian Jessie computer. That's the testing version of Debian with more up-to-date packages. So let's take a look at the process. First thing we're going to do is download the Gramps Debian package from the website. We're going to export family trees to Gramps XML format. We're going to remove the old version of Gramps, including the material in the home folder. Then we are going to install Gramps from the deb file previously downloaded. Then we're going to import the family trees that we exported above. And then we're going to wrap up by reinstalling add-ons and adjusting preferences. So let's get to it. First thing we're going to do is download the latest Gramps package, and here's the old one. Okay, this is going to be version 4.1.2. I'm going to hop over to the website where you'll see this is the download page right here. You can get to the download page by visiting gramps-project.org, and then there's a download button in the upper right corner of the screen. You can get to the download page very easily. So you can see about a month ago this was updated. I'm a little behind the times. Usually I'm right on top of this, but I let it go for about a month this time. But today is the day. I'm going to get this done. So here's the download button. This will take us to the download page where you can download Gramps not just for Linux but for these other operating systems as well. But I'm on my Linux computer today and I'm going to download 4.1.3 for Linux. That is going to be Debian Linux in my case. So I'm going to click on this, advanced users only. That's me, I'm advanced. Okay. And you can see some download instructions here. This is a command that we're going to be using later to install the package. But to get the package, the link is here. Download the deb file, and that takes you to the download page. Now we're going to have some choices here between Python and Python 3. Okay, and we have some choices between do I want the source or the Debian, but I'm going to make sure I choose the correct one for my system, which is going to be this one here, Python 3 Gramps. This other one, Python Gramps, would also work in most cases. That's going to use the 2.7 version of Python. But I'm usually kind of forward thinking with my software, so I try to get it running on the most recent versions of things. So that'll be Python 3 in my case. So here we go. I'm going to click on Python 3 Gramps, and you will see the download page. Download will start in 3, 2, 1, 0. And here we go, open or download file. Now don't worry if you see other buttons here like, hey, download this new software. This stuff down here is not related to Gramps. This is advertising on the SourceForge page. So if you see any other download buttons around here, don't worry about those. That's not for you. Unless you want to follow the links of the advertisers, don't worry about those. Your download should start automatically. You should get a window of some kind showing you that your download is ready. So here I'm going to save as. Okay. I'm going to put this right on my desktop so you can see it. Gramps Python 3 deb save. And it may take a few moments to download. Okay, so I'm going to visit my desktop, see what we got. So here is the package, Python 3 Gramps. Okay, and I'm going to revisit that in just a little bit, but for now, let's go back to my to-do list. Next thing I want to do is export family trees to Gramps XML. I have to do that in my Gramps software. And each of these trees I have to go through that process, which is good for you because you get to see the repetition. So practice tree is a tree that I've made during the process of making other videos, but I also have these other ones that are useful to me in my own personal research. So I have to go through each of these and export them. So I'm going to start with practice tree. And to export them, family trees, export. And this takes you through a process. This is also the process that you would use to back up your data. If you're doing any sort of computer overhauls and you want to make sure your data is preserved, just in case something goes wrong with your overhaul, you would use this process to save your data. That way you can reload it in the case there's some problem with your computer overhaul. But for us, we're just going to upgrade Gramps, not doing anything so drastic, but these are the steps for exporting. Okay, and you can just go through this as a little wizard you can go through. Now when you get to this screen, choose output format. You want to choose Gramps XML family tree. Okay, that's going to include the information that would have been included in GEDCOM, but also some extra goodies that are unique to the Gramps software. But it will not package up all your media. If you have a lot of media like me, this file will be huge. So we're just going to export our data. Our media is elsewhere on our computer, so let's move on to the next step here. Okay, export options. Okay, I'll usually calculate the previews just to make sure everyone's included. I haven't accidentally excluded anyone. Looks like everyone in this tree is going to be exported, so next. And this is where you get to choose your location and your file name. Now my personal preference is to store these backups in the Gramps DB folder, which is in my home folder. Okay, so you can store this anywhere. It's not dependent on where you store it. As long as you remember where you put it and you can find it when it comes time to import it, you'll be okay. So you can see I have some previous backups in here, and I'm just going to be adding to those. And I'm going to choose a name for this, practice. Okay, and I like to put the date on it as well, 2015. Current date is June 9th. So I would say 0609. Okay, and that's going to be my file, my backup file, my exported file. And it goes through a little confirmation screen, and when you apply it, it will tell you whether there has been a success. This is a very small tree, so it was done in the blink of an eye, but our next tree is going to be larger, so you'll see there's more of a process. Okay, close this tree. Family trees, open recent or manage. Okay, either one of those will have your next tree, depending on how you've used this program in the past. I'm going to do the Gram family tree because this is going to be the big one. This is my main family tree. You can see how long it takes to load. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is same process. Export this tree. Next. Gramps XML, that's what I want. Next. It's over 1,000 people. Calculate previews. They're all going to be in there. Fine. Next. Okay, new file name. I'm going to put the date in first. And the date will be 5/06/09 and Gramps. Next. Data will be saved as follows. Apply. You can see this is a larger file, so it's taking more time. And there it is. A copy of your data has been successfully saved. You may press close to continue. I have a few more trees to do, so bear with me. Family trees, open recent, Pickersgill family. Export. Next, Gramps XML. Calculate previews, fine, next. Okay, and then rename my file. 06/09 Pickersgill. Good, next. Apply. Fairly quick. Close. Family trees, open recent. Watts Barnes. Export. Next. Gramps XML. Next. All 14 people. And rename my file. Watts Barnes. Next. Apply. Very quick. And one more. Family trees. Export. Next. Okay, Gramps XML. All 14 people in here. And see, a little bit too much of a coincidence. I did not change to a new family. I wanted to change to the Young family, so let me cancel this. Family trees, open research, Young, the Hugh Young Show. Here we go. Family trees, export. Next. Gramps XML. Next. All 24 people. Next. And here. 2015 0609. And this will be Young. Good. Next. Apply. All done. Close. Okay, so we finished this step. We have exported all of our family trees. I put mine in the Gramps DB folder. Let's move on to the next step, which is going to be removing the software. Now, this is always a little bit unnerving to be without your software for just a few minutes, but if you get through it, this will be okay. So let's take a look here. I'm going to close this. Okay, and I'm going to open a terminal. And very simply, I'm going to remove the Gramps software using this command, sudo apt-get remove Gramps. Now that's apt-get. Apt-get remove Gramps. If you really want to get rid of the configuration files and everything, you could put an extra command in here to purge configuration files. I usually do, but I don't think it's completely necessary. I'm just going to go ahead and do it that way. And that will remove Gramps for me. And here goes the password portion. And that is there. Good. Now it's going to take a moment. Okay. So here is Gramps not installed, so not removed. Let me, oh, you know what it is? Python 3 Gramps. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so in my case, I hadn't installed the Python 3 version, so if you had installed that before, you're going to have to include that in the name of your package. Okay, do you want to continue? Yes, I do. Meantime, I'm going to bring up my key monitor again. There it is. Okay. So it's removing, updating my database of packages, removing version 4.1.2. If you notice you happen to have some of these no longer required packages, you can take a moment and use the auto remove command to get rid of those as well. I won't go through that now because you've been patient enough as it is watching this screen. But let's take a look at the next step while that's going on. The next step is we're going to be deleting the Gramps folder, which has been left behind. Despite having removed the program itself, the data remains in your home folder. So that's going to be our next step, and here we are, that has completed. So we can close our terminal for the time being, and I'm going to open up a file manager. Now to view your hidden files in a file manager, use Control-H. Any folder with a period in front, this is normally hidden. You can use Control-H to hide or show these hidden folders, and one of these hidden folders is going to be the .gramps folder. Even though we have deleted the software, the data still remains in this folder. So I'm going to open this, and as you recall, I saved my family trees in the Gramps DB folder. So this is always a folder that I like to save. I don't want to delete this. Also, the way I have set up my data, I have a little folder called M in which I store media files. So that's another thing I want to save. If you have stuck anything in this folder that you want to save, do be sure to separate it before you go deleting stuff. So Gramps DB, I click and drag to save that onto my desktop because I will use the data in there later. And now I can delete the Gramps folder. So now I've deleted the software. I have deleted the data, except for the data that I will import. Now it's time for the fun part, and that is installing the next version of Gramps. So I'm going to go back to my desktop here, and this is the package, Python 3 Gramps. I'm going to right click on this, and you'll see that there is an option to install the package right from the right click menu. Sometimes this is called GDebi. It depends on what sort of window manager you're using. Mine is called package install, but this is an easy way to install any package from the desktop or from a file manager. Just right click and look for this option. If you don't see that option, or if you're a little nerdy, you like to use the terminal, you can use this command in the terminal to install the Python 3 version of Gramps or the Python 2.7 version of Gramps, whichever one you have decided to download. I'm going to be a little nerdy here, and I'm going to use the terminal. And to do that, first I have to navigate to the location where I downloaded my Python 3 Gramps package, and that, for me, that's the desktop. For you, that might be the download folder. You would have to check it out as you're downloading. So I will do cd desktop. That brings me to my desktop folder. An ls command will display the files here on my desktop, and you can see among them is Python 3 Gramps deb. Okay, and I will now issue the dpackage command sudo dpkg -i pyth. Now you can start typing out the name of that package file and then just press tab, and it will auto-complete if it finds the file. So it found the file for me, and I'm going to issue this command right now and put in my password. And here it goes. Takes a few minutes. Well, I have actually made a shortcut in my panel here for Gramps, so that's going to load up right now. Takes a little while. I can close this in the meantime. And here it is. This is a brand new, fresh install. No family trees are here, but we're about to fix that. Okay, notice that as I opened Gramps for the first time, it had created a new hidden folder in my home folder. This is where the database is going to be once it's created. Okay, so I'm going to create family trees as they had been before. First will be practice tree. Oops, practice tree. Good. I'm going to load that tree. Let's make this full screen, maximized. And let's go ahead with the business of importing. Family trees, import. Now you can select from this section your previously saved backup file. Now you'll notice here my files are not there. I've actually left them on the desktop. So let's move these into the Gramps folder. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab from this the stuff that I want to move over to my new installation. That would be this folder for media that I've created myself. This is not standard with Gramps. I've created that myself to store some of my media. And my most recent backups that I just made earlier. Okay, these files I will copy and paste here under Gramps DB. Here, Gramps DB, paste. Now what I'll often do is revisit my Gramps DB folder and delete the extra stuff that I won't be using. Actually, I could have just moved this, but oh well. Okay, and then this folder here from the desktop, I'll often go ahead and add that to my Gramps DB as well. Really though, you could just get rid of this Gramps folder. You probably will not use that anymore. So I might go ahead and rename this. Excuse me. Rename. Call it Gramps Old and put it here. But really, I mean, you're not going to need this old folder. I've been doing this for a couple of years and I've never needed it. So don't feel obligated to save this folder. It's just if you want to look back on the old times, some of your old backups, they're going to be here, but otherwise you don't need this. Okay. I'll actually put it in the Gramps DB folder. Revisiting the import, you'll see that my files are now there. So I can install the practice, or I can import the practice data. Here it gives you a output result. And that's it for this tree. I have a few other trees to do, so here I'll manage my family trees. I'll create a new one. If you remember, the Graham family tree was here. Load that family tree. Import Graham fam and import. This is the one that's going to take a while because of the size of it. Over 1,100 names in this tree, so you can see my little timer is spinning. Things are moving a little slowly as the data is imported. You can see in the bottom left corner there is a progress bar. And my main family tree is imported. I have a few other trees to work on. Manage family trees, new, the Pickersgills of Philadelphia. Load. Family trees, import, Pickersgill, import. Should be relatively quick. And done. 2 more. manage family trees, new, the young show, and load. I call it that, the young show, because some of the research into this family can get pretty absurd. It's kind of entertaining in its own way, so it's kind of like a little variety show for me to research these guys. But anyway, import young, and here, import. Done. Okay. Last one, manage family trees, new, and this is Watts Barnes, load family tree. And import them. Watts Barnes. Good. Now all my trees are imported. You can see them all in the Family Tree Manager. You can jump back and forth between trees. I'm going to jump back and forth right now to the practice tree. And there it is. Okay, so we're set up now. If I go under Help About, you will notice that we now have version 4.1.3 installed. But wait, there's more. Don't go yet. Last step is to reinstall your add-ons and adjust your preferences. So adding your add-ons is pretty easy, but you have to know to do it. And that would be under Edit, Preferences. And here it says check for updates. I like to go for new and updated. That just casts the widest net. And I'm going to check now. And it will show all of the add-ons that are available to you. And I like to install all of them, except there's one that I don't really use, and that is the timeline pedigree. But, I mean, it's a fine view. If you use it, you're welcome to use it, but I like to leave that off and install those add-ons. Oh, excuse me, select all to select all the add-ons, and then leave out timeline pedigree, because I personally don't use it. But yeah, if you use it, you're welcome to install it. In fact, I would recommend that you install it just so you can check it out. But I'm going to install those add-ons, which is all of them but one. You can see a progress bar. And now you have all of your add-ons. It says you will have to restart Gramps to see the new views. Well, let's do that. Close, 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 restart. Takes a little while to start. And now I have my graph view and other views that I like. There's my graph view. Okay, last thing you need to do, and this is the part that it's my least favorite part of updating, we'll say. And the least favorite part of updating for me is setting my preferences the way I had them in the other version. And to do that, you just go to Edit, Preferences, and then if you've set your preferences before, you should have an idea how to do it again, but it's just part of the process. So if you want to change things like the way the date's displayed, I like this standard month, day, year. It'll change next time you get a startup. And there are other preferences that you may like to edit. I'm going to leave it at that for now, but that's basically the process. Now I'm ready to continue on with my family history research. That's about it. Here it is one more time, the list of steps, and enjoy putting together your family's history.